Strength of Africa TV presents.
When I look in the mirror, what do I see? An African face staring back at me. Not a rival, not a stranger, but blood and bone. Yet too often we forget that we are one. Your language may be different, your flag may be new, but the blood in your veins is the same shade too. Ghana or Kenya, Nigeria or Congo, our roots are deeper than the lines that they drew. Africa, Africa, I see you in me. Africa, Africa, one family. No border, no ocean can tear us apart. The same roots, the same fire, the same beating heart.
Brothers and sisters, today we pause. We pause not to blame, not to argue, but to reflect. The theme is simple, yet heavy. Africans, how do we see ourselves? Because before the world tells us who we are, before history books define us, before the media paints us, the question remains, how do we as Africans see ourselves? And how do we see each other? It is a question of the soul, a question that touches identity, a question that touches unity, a question that touches dignity. It is a question that may be uncomfortable, yet necessary. For until we know how we see ourselves, we cannot know how to work together. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Depending on where you are at this moment, I still remain your host, Adebayo Oladokun, and this is Strength of Africa TV, where truth meets courage, where the past is reawakened, and the future of the motherland is reclaimed. Today's episode is titled, The African Gaze, How We See Ourselves. Let us look in the mirror. When an African sees another African, what's the first thought? Do we see a brother, a sister, someone carrying the same weight of history, of struggle, of survival, or do we see a rival, a competitor, a stranger divided by borders we did not draw? Look around our continent. How many wars have been fought not against foreign invaders, but against one another? How many times have we turned the gun, the knife, the word of hate against our own? Too often, tribalism, nationalism, and old wounds cloud our gaze. We look at a fellow African, and instead of seeing kinship, we see division. You are not from my region. You do not speak my language. You belong to that group. And slowly, the mirror cracks. The unity that should bind us becomes fragile. It's replaced with suspicion and pride. We forget that the colonial map was drawn with rulers and pens, not with love or understanding. We forget that before there was Nigeria, Uganda, Malawi, or Senegal, there was Africa. One land, one people, one heritage. Yet, in truth, whether from Ghana or Kenya, Nigeria or Ethiopia, Congo or South Africa, we carry the same scars and the same strength. The blood that flows is the same. The hope that rises is the same. But let us move further. How do Africans see Black people of African descent in the Caribbean, in the Americas, or in Europe? Sometimes with admiration. We see them shine in music, sports, academia, politics, and sometimes with envy. We think they have more opportunities than us. Sometimes with misunderstanding. We think they have forgotten Africa. We forget that they too are children of the continent, though taken far away not by their will. We forget that they too are searching for home, for belonging, for a place where their blackness is not a burden, but a crown. And how do they see us? The Africans still on the continent? Some see us as the originals, the source, the roots. Others see us as strangers because the distance of centuries has created a gap. They may not understand our daily struggles with poverty, with corruption, and failed leadership. Just as we may not understand their struggles with racism, alienation, and the loss of language and culture. But beneath it all, we are reflections of one another, parts of the same whole. The African on the continent and the African in the diaspora are two sides of the same coin. One side scarred by slavery and separation, the other scarred by colonization and exploitation. Yet, both sides still shine when held to the light. Now, my brothers and my sisters, my fellow Africans, both at home and in diaspora, why do these divisions exist? Why does the African sometimes struggle to love the African? Why do we cultivate superiority or inferiority complex towards ourselves? History whispers the answer. Colonial powers did not only divide our lands, they divided our minds. They took difference and turned it into danger. They took diversity and turned it into distrust. We were told, this tribe is better than that one. This language is superior. This shade of skin is more beautiful. We were taught to measure ourselves by foreign standards. The whiteness of our skin, the straightness of our hair, the accent of our speech, and the passport we hold. And so, we turned the knife inward. Instead of unity, we chose suspicion. Instead of brotherhood, we chose competition. Instead of embracing Africanness, we chased approval from outside. Even today, many Africans see more value in Europe, in America, in the West, than in Africa itself. Imagine a degree from London is seen as more prestigious than one from Lagos. A product imported from Europe is trusted more than one made in Accra or Addis Ababa. A man with an American accent is given more respect than a man speaking his local tongue. And sadly, sometimes we project this onto one another. If you come from outside, you are more respected than if you are from here. It's a wound still bleeding. It is a scar that has yet to heal. My brothers and sisters, my fellow Africans, but what if we changed the way we see? What if we the African, looked at another African and saw not a threat, not a rival, but family? Imagine a Nigerian seeing a Ghanaian and saying, my brother. Imagine a South African seeing a Zimbabwean and saying, my sister. Imagine an Ethiopian embracing a Somali and saying, my family. Imagine Africans in the diaspora returning to the continent and being embraced, not judged for their accent or their different ways. Or imagine Africans in the diaspora welcoming us, not with suspicions, but with open arms. Knowing we are all part of the same tree, it begins with a gaze, a new gaze. A gaze that recognizes our shared struggles and celebrates our shared victories. A gaze that refuses to see another African as less, but sees in them the reflection of our own dignity. Because the truth is this: if Africa is weak, no African anywhere in the world can stand tall without feeling that weight of weakness. But if Africa rises, all black people everywhere walk taller. And that rising begins with how we see ourselves, with the respect we show each other, with the pride we hold in our Africanness. So I ask again, Africans, how do we see ourselves? Do we look with eyes clouded by colonial shadows? Or do we see with eyes of truth? Do we measure each other by borders? Or do we see the bloodline that runs deeper than any flag? Do we see our differences as weapons or as colors in the same beautiful tapestry? It is time to look in the mirror with honesty. It is time to admit our divisions. it is time to heal, because how we see ourselves shapes how the world will see us. And if we cannot respect, uplift, and value one another, no one else will. My fellow Africans, let this not just be words. Let it be a reflection that lives in your heart. Tomorrow, when you meet another African, either from your street, from another country, or from the diaspora, ask yourself, how do I see them? And let the answer be this: I see them as me. I see them as Africa. Only then will the African gaze heal. Only then will the African spirit rise. Only then will the world see us as we truly are. One people, one strength, one destiny. I still remain your host, Adebayo Oladokun, and this has been Strength of Africa TV production. If you found value in this conversation, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Deezer. Watch out for the next episode. You don't want to miss it. Until then, tell your own story, because Africa's future is written in an African ink. Stay rooted, stay bold, stay African. And thank you for watching, and see you in the next episode. Bye.
When I look in the mirror, what do I see? An African face staring back at me. Not a rival, not a stranger, but blood and bone. Yet too often we forget that we are one.